How you doing, guys? Alessandro here from Spicy Moustache with some new tips in order to help you creating your own green area, indoor or outdoor. Loads of people ask me why I decided to call myself Spicy Moustache. And there's actually a story behind it. Basically, I used to eat loads of spicy food that unfortunately I had to stop due to some issues with my stomach. However, my fiance hates spicy food so much that she thinks that the tomato sauce on top of Domino's pizza is spicy. Jokes on side, she actually helps me to do everything spicy related. Anyway, every time I was eating spicy stuff, she kept complaining because no matter what I did to clean my mouth or my mustache, she could still feel it every time she gave me a kiss. So it happened a bit as a joke that this name came out, and we decided to use it as a branding for the channel, the Instagram and the Facebook profile. But chili are much more than just spicy food. So hit up that like button, and today I'm gonna explain you all I know about chilies. Chilies are the brightly colored fruit or berries produced by the chili pepper plant, and in Latin they are known as capsicum. They belong to the family of Solanaceae, which also includes their cousins, aubergine, potatoes, and tomatoes. In the kitchen, they're commonly known as a vegetable or a spice, and they are often called chili peppers. However, they are not related to white or black pepper. Their name is believed to come from Christopher Columbus, who noticed a similar taste to pepper grains. In the tropical and temperate Americas, these chilies are grown as perennial, and they can be found throughout the year. But in UK or colder climates like the North America, they are generally grown as tender annual. Today there are loads of different varieties available, and they all differ in color, taste, shape, and we can count up to 10,000, if not more, varieties available on the market. Chilies are the most widespread and commonly known ingredient in the world. It's an essential component in different parts of the world, like India, Mexico, Thailand, and many other countries. And there has been an explosion of interest in this fruit over the last years. Finally, people have started to realize that it's not only about heat. Chilies are about intense flavor too, and every kind of cuisine around the world has its own way of cooking them. Chilies are increasingly catching the attention all over the world, and lately they are becoming a sort of obsession for some of us. People who love to grow and eat chilies, they are commonly known as chili heads. There are contests all over the world for the biggest chili grown, the hottest sauce, or chili eating competitions, and many other things involving chilies. Another really cool thing about chilies, to prove that it's not only about heat, is that they are surprisingly good for us. They've been valued in South America for their medicinal properties other than just culinary plants, and they've got many health benefits in modern medicine. Chilies contains a high level of calcium and vitamin C, twice the amount of citrus fruit, and the riper red chilies contain the highest amount. Red chilies also contain beta-carotene, and whenever they get dried, they've got a high amount of vitamin A. They may also help to prevent diabetes and treat arthritis, and help with many other issues related to digestion or problems with your stomach and intestine. Some modern research are finally dispelling the belief that chilies are bad for your stomach, but are actually helping to protect it. Chilies are one of the oldest crops cultivated in the Americas, and there are archaeological evidence that proves that chilies were used by Mexican cuisine back in 6,000 years ago. Columbus was one of the first person to encounter this amazing fruit in the Americas, and he brought it back to Spain. The funny thing is that initially they were used as an ornamental plant in Europe, but then luckily they discovered their potential in medicine and culinary use. There are also evidence that it was the Portuguese who introduced chilies to Asia, thanks to their colonies in Goa, as well as China, Japan, and Indonesia. So then the use of chilies spread through Central Asia, down to Turkey and far beyond that. Today, India is the world's largest consumer, exporter and producer of chilies in the world. But they're also an essential part of different kinds of cuisines like Thai, Spanish, Hungarian, Portuguese and many others. Chilies affect our body in different ways, like burning mouth, the stinging lips, your eyes watery, your sweat running down your forehead. They're all symptoms of the capsaicin acting in your body. When you eat a chili, it's the actual capsaicin that irritates your stomach, your mouth, your throat, and sends signals to your brain that you just ate something hot. However, even if it feels like the capsaicin is burning or damaging your body, in the end it's not doing anything at all. The way your brain responds to that is by trying to flush away this pain. This is why you get the runny nose or the watering eye or the sweat on your forehead. Also, it raises your heartbeat, releasing endorphins, which are natural painkillers for your body. This commonly called rush that you get after eating a chili, it's something that gets chili heads really into this amazing fruit. And potentially, it's one of the reasons why you get addicted to eating this food. Also, the more you eat spicy food, the more tolerant of heat you become. All the chili heads out there, that they take part in this crazy competition where they eat spicy food as if it was candy, they weren't born this way. They actually built up a resistance, or to better say a tolerance, to chilies by eating them regularly. In this way, you kinda get used to it, and whatever at first seemed spicy, like a jalapeno for example, after a while it gets a blunt taste. To determine how hot is a chili, it's not only down to the genetic of the chili itself. Environmental conditions play a major part in determining how hot a chili is gonna be. For example, if you put under stress a plant by underwatering there, it could end up in spicier chilies, but the plant will be weaker in the final harvest and also in production of chilies. On the other hand, temperature plays another essential role. The hotter the temperature that you expose your chili plants to, the spicier the chilies will be in the end. Basically, you could test this yourself. If you harvest some chilies throughout the summer, or to better say in the middle of the summer, the chili itself will be spicier than compared to the end of the season. This really depends on where you're based. For example, in UK, if you harvest some chilies around October, they will be weaker than whatever you harvested throughout the summer. There is also a lot of discussion to where the most concentration of capsaicin is found in a chili. Most people say it's in the seeds, but it's absolutely not. The majority of the capsaicin is found in the placenta. Capsaicin spreads throughout the whole chili. However, if you would like to reduce the heat of the chili itself, it's best to remove the placenta other than just the seeds. Also, be careful whenever you're about to taste a chili, because most people, they just cut the end of the chili called apex and they taste it. But that's the part where there is less concentration of capsaicin. There is also a scale to determine how spicy it's a chili, invented by Wilbur Scoville back in 1912, but I explain everything in my previous video and I recommend you to check it out if you would like to know more about it. From the many species of chilies that were found in Central and South America, there are now 5 domesticated species that are commonly found, and they include thousands of varieties. Capsicum annum is the most widespread chilies of them all and is the main species grown in India, Mexico and China. It includes sweet peppers as well as cayenne, pimiento, jalapeno and paprika. The fruit varies in heat from 0 to 80,000 on the Scoville scale, or commonly called the Scoville heat units. These plants are commonly tall, easy to germinate and fruit, and they are the best ones for beginners. Capsicum chinense are hot with a fruity aromatic flavor, and they are the most popular species grown in Caribbean. They include Scotch bonnet, habanero, and but jolokia. which was one of the hottest pepper in the world, but it's now fairly surpassed by other varieties. They are slow to grow and they germinate best with a high humidity. The heat range goes from 100,000 on the Scoville scale to 1 million plus. Capsicum pubescensis are easily identified by their black seeds and hairy leaves. They're also known as rocotto, and it's impressive how they can resist to cooler temperatures. The fruit is thick and fleshy, and this makes them ideal for dehydration. And on the Scoville scale, they are around 100,000. Capsicum baccatum thrives best in hot temperatures with a plant fully exposed to sun, and are grown mostly in South America, and are commonly known as ají. All the varieties have a distinctive smoky fruity taste, and they go from 3,000 to 100,000 on the Scoville scale. Capsicum frutescens, it includes the famous piri piri or Tabasco. These bushy plants are ideal to grow in containers and are absolutely amazing as decorative plants because they develop this fruit that grows upright and they are really productive. It's best to grow in full sun to make a compact plant, and it goes from 50 to 100,000 on the Scoville scale. So if you would like to start your own chili plants, you could either start them from seed, as I explained in my previous video about germinating chili seeds, or you could potentially source some plugs, and this gives you a heads up in case that you don't have space indoor to start your plants, or in case that you failed in germinating your seeds. So I recommended already in my previous video the book RHS, Red Hot Chili Growers, that you could find on the link in the description of this video. And also there are different trusted groups on Facebook that could help you with many advices and specific tips on how to grow best your plants. If you like today's video, please subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification settings so you can be notified every time I post a new video. I'll see you next Friday for another episode about gardening or a healthy life. Thank you very much for watching. See ya.